Friends, enemies, and internet losers, I have returned. Hello, my name is Baroness Cameron, and you are listening to Radio BSC on Podbean.com. It's been a lousy 7 days to be a celebrity. Ed McMahon, Sky Saxon of the Seeds, Farrah Fawcett, Michael Jackson, and now the king of infomercials, Billy Mays, have died. A friend of mine warned people on their Facebook page that if you're the slightest bit famous, check into a hospital and don't check out until you're certain that you're okay. But Debbie Allen said, fame costs, and right here's where you start paying. There is a definite cost to fit celebrity, but there is also a price of getting there. Most are familiar with the story of Robert Johnson, or perhaps it was his friend Tommy Johnson, the blues man who sold his soul to the devil in exchange for the ability to play a guitar. Or the story of Ike Zimmerman, who legend says gained his guitar skill while sitting on a tombstone in a graveyard at midnight. But beyond the sale of souls, there is a tangible price as well. Billie Holiday was raped and worked as a teen prostitute before her wonderful blues styling were brought to the world. Emmylou Harris found creative strength in the pain of Graham Parsons' death. And Loretta Lynn once claimed that her husband never hit her once when she didn't hit him back twice. My guest and I will discuss these women as well as folk art and tattoos if we have time. So now we too are at the Crossroads, where art meets life, and all we need to do is decide how much a ticket for the ride is worth. My name is Baroness Cameron, and I don't know anything that you can't learn with a library card and a curious nature. Let's start the show. Hello, and welcome to this, our fourth episode of Radio BSC. I have a wonderful guest today, but we are going to start off with a dedication to a friend of mine, Bryce Lamont, who has finally been able to live out his life's dream and now owns a perfect replica of the General Lee. So this one goes out to Bryce. Welcome back. That was Cadaver Dogs with beer-flavored beer. Before that, we had Waylon Jennings with the theme from Dukes of Hazzard. So I have my guest here today, and she is a talented singer and songwriter, an artist, and apparently quite proficient with a tattoo gun as well. Her music has been described as death folk blues, but I prefer to think of her as a tattooed angel singing lullabies at the Crossroads. Dusty Doug, the bass player for the Belladines, described her music as, quote, the kind of tunes you hear in a movie after some dude has shot 10 people and is walking down a corridor from the room in which they were killed, end quote. I'm going to have a little chat with Doug about that, because that's actually what I told him one night at the Black Door. So I'm very excited to have her here, and I bet she's glad to be here after what I can only imagine to be a pretty lousy bus ride. Valerie Graham, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Baron.
Well, as I said, I'm glad you made it out, because...
yeah, it was dicey there for a bit.
It happens. Like, for instance, every time I go to Richmond, I give myself an extra 45 minutes because I know that I will get lost. There's just absolutely no way to avoid it. That's always happens. So you had down in your list of influences for your music, which you people will be getting to hear very soon, so treats for you. Emmylou Harris, Nico Case, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Joni Mitchell, Billie Holiday, The Beatles, Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, and Johnny Cash. And I was looking through some of the ladies on that list, and as I said in the intro, Billie Holiday had a terrible upbringing. Emmylou Harris, Linda Ronstadt said about her that she spent a lot of her career. Well, she's still going, but, spent a lot of her time trying to just come to grips with, the loss of Graham Parsons. Loretta Lynn, Doolittle was basically, after 50 years that they were together, before he died, he was never really the perfect husband. But do you think that's necessary for their music to be the way it is? Because, it's hard not to be the sum of your parts, and unfortunately for some people that is, where they're coming from.
I guess they kind of come from the same place, and I don't think anybody is drawn to create something unless they have something going a little awry inside of them. And I've always found them to almost be the same thing that go with all the substance abuse and everything that people have. It's almost like those come from the same place too. That desire, I don't know, must be looking for an altered state or something.
Well, because, when you think about love songs, what was it? John Cusack in High Fidelity said that, they're always worried about, the lyrics in like Ozzy Osbourne songs, but who's ever going to be held responsible for all the emotional damage done by the love song? And when you think about it, there's not a whole lot of love songs that are actually about love. They're about love that you've lost.
Yeah.
I mean, like the one that I love is John Prine and Iris DeMent doing "In Spite of Ourselves," which I think is sort of a true love song because it's a couple that's still together, just can't stand each other. And actually, when Derek and Kara were here, Dirty and Kara were here last week, they did a really funny tune called "Whiskey Demons," which is essentially the same thing. But do you need hardship? Like as I said, you know that if it's part of you, it's there. And you said that if not something slightly askew, that you probably wouldn't be that creative. But is it absolutely is it a necessity, or is that what separates? Say
there are a lot of really bad love songs that are actually about love. Like just talking about Chicago earlier today, and some of their love songs. Those are love songs. They're about love, but they're terrible. Nobody wants to hear them.
I guess that's got a point.
I think it probably is. I had a strange, lonely life where I spent a lot of time by myself playing guitar and I guess or doing art, and I don't think I would have done it if I hadn't been kind of left alone in a weird place in a lot of ways.
Here's a question for you then. I mean, I remember Fred Durst was going off about some boy band or other, and he says, "Oh, it's all contrived." And the response was, "Well, you know, Fred, you're a multimillionaire. You own your own record company. You can basically have sex with any groupie you choose. Why are you still so angry? Are you not yourself contrived?" So is there a level that you might get to? I mean, you know, you could possibly use Kurt Cobain as an example where success did not in any way help him from his demons. Or, you know, somebody like Graham Parsons, or, you know, that along that line where, you know, could you lose that? So you said that, you know, you lock yourself inside a room and do art and play music, but if you actually did make it big, would you lose that? Or would you have to find a way to keep that? Do you think that's what sometimes pushes some of these people over the edge? Like they can't live in both worlds?
You just have to go write the album about being so angry about becoming famous that everybody does afterwards. Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, it takes a long time to deal with certain things of damage, and they don't just go away just because you have money or anything. If anything, you've become it seems like people get so isolated and have none of their normal world or life around them anymore and can't trust your friends and that sort of thing. I don't know if I mean, look at Britney Spears. She's rich and famous about as well as she could be, and obviously in a great deal of pain still. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's helping her write the epic album about heartache, but...
Yeah. The one who really signed that for me, strangely enough, was Danny Bonaducci, and he was talking about it. And, you know, of course, he knows of what he speaks. But he said that Britney doesn't have a booze and drug problem. She has a mental problem, and the booze and the drugs are part of that. He says she's too much, too fast, too young. Nobody says no to her. And then she meets a fucktard like Kevin Federline that throws her right over the edge. Yeah. And she just has a complete nervous breakdown. So that might be the case. But speaking of powerful women, we've got 4 of them here. Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, Emmylou Harris, and my guest, Valerie Graham. If you are listening to the podcast, you're going to hear the live performance of her song Found Money. And if you are watching the video, you will see her live performance of the song Found Money. But we're going to start this off with Jolene by Dolly Parton.
Like it was free.
so scared that I gave you away. Dropped in some beggar's cup or disappeared into a washing machine. A 50-cent piece or a quarter at least. Be tender, tenderly released. $1 or two, an old Spanish doubloon, shining on high like the moon, up so high, high, found money. Can you find me again? I'm so broke if you're spare that I almost don't care. Come, my silver, my gold one, my beautiful bold one. Now come back for me. Jingle, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingle, jingling, jingle, jingling.
That was Valerie Graham with Found Money, live at BSC Studios. Yay! Before that, we had Boulder to Birmingham by Emmylou Harris, You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man by Loretta Lynn, and Jolene by Dolly Parton. So, are you ready for the stock list of questions?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Number one, how long have you been doing this?
I started playing guitar when I was, I guess, about 13. I started playing live shows, I think, only about 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. I'm very bad with time. Yeah, and then I started playing with one band last summer, The Perfect Gentleman. That was my drummer, Alex, and Mike Guild from the Belladines played guitar with me. And then I have a different thing now, although it's basically just people doing my songs. It's Valerie Graham and her drinking problems.
Which, sorry to cut you off, is a beautiful, it's perfect, man. Also, I don't know if any of you guys can hear this out there, but there's a lot of packing tape being ripped apart. So there's not actually like some weird, duct tape party going on.
We have some hostages tied up in the back.
Yes.
They're breaking free. Might have to go.
If you see some half-naked immigrants go running through, missing a lot of hair where we duct tape, and that's what that's from.
Catch them for us, please.
Yes, no doubt. So, solo, then Val Graham and the Perfect Gentleman was,
Yep.
and then Valerie Graham and her drinking problems, which is we were saying before we were so rudely interrupted by the escaping immigrant.
Which is still Alex Angel on drums and Henry Beckwith on keyboards and Benoit Allery on guitar.
Nice. Now, Beckwith, is that the son of the guy who owns Neptune Records?
No,
he's the drummer for the Manipulators, not the keyboard player for the Manipulators.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, that's the drummer, Ben.
Yeah, okay. Got that a little bit confused. Like I knew that they, because
they both joined at almost exactly the same time.
And the last time I saw them play, well, actually the second to last time I saw them play was, I think it was Ben's first show with them at the Cobalt for Doug's birthday party, and that was the first time I met his dad.
Yeah.
I think that was his first show, and then I just saw them again at Pub 3-4 the other day for your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You are very welcome. So what's next? I mean, you have, well, if you had to list them, sort of your art, your music, and then I guess you could consider the tattooing art as well, but more of a
Job art.
job art thing.
Yeah.
So how would you prioritize them? I mean, financially, I imagine probably goes tattooing, artwork, and then music, because
Yeah, pretty much.
music is sort of a break even prospect if you're lucky. Well, do you just work out? Do you have a studio at your house, or
Yeah, I just work from my my room. Yeah.
there you go.
Bring people over, draw on them,
And
send them
tattoo
out.
them. Well, I bring people over and duct tape them, because you can hear in the background.
Our jobs are somewhat similar.
There you go. So we were talking earlier, but you said you don't have a whole lot planned for the summer, but you are going to be playing July 16th on CITR,
Yep.
and we're discussing the time that show is going to be on. But when I find out, I'll put it up listed somewhere so that you can check that out. Anything in the later summer that you're going to be doing or not doing? Or?
I don't really have anything going on right now. It's kind of lame. Yeah, there's not much going on. I don't know. Just keep practicing. And
So
wait for
if you would
something to happen.
like a tattoo, some sort of crafty art, or a song, you know who to talk to, and she's available. And do you do bar mitzvahs? But no windows, I take it, right?
No, not good with heights. Yeah,
Well,
we
you
do
could-
have the craft fair coming up
Oh,
next
that's the
weekend.
craft fair is
July 5th.
July 5th, the craft fair. It's Sunday
At the Cambrian Hall.
at the Cambrian Hall. I know that she's going to be there because she's skipping my birthday barbecue to be there.
Yeah.
So it's the Cambrian Hall from
I have a poster, actually.
from
if I can-
morning to afternoon.
Should I grab it?
Go ahead, grab it.
I don't keep things like facts and times and dates in my head very well. So, the Made Here Market, Sunday, July 5th, 2009, 12 to 5 p.m. at the Cambrian Hall, 17th Avenue East off of Main. Featuring booby bites. I don't even know what those are. Jewelry, clothing, accessories, woodworking, paper crafts, cards, altered books, matchbooks, shrines, baked goods, so much more. And I think they're going to try to have some music too, so I don't know.
Excellent. So another venue trying to support local music. Speaking of local music, how's that for a terrible segue?
Terrible.
We're going to play some. We have Swank, Shiloh Lindsay, and the Stumblers Inn coming up. And this song by Swank is a song called Donkey Cart, and I just absolutely love it. I heard it at their CD release party, which was Campfire Psalms is the name of the CD. Also comes with a karaoke DVD, so you can sing along to Swank. But it's a song called Donkey Cart. After that, we'll have Diamonds by Shiloh Lindsay and Rely by the Stumblers Inn. That was the Stumblers Inn with Rely. Before that, we had Shiloh Lindsay with Diamonds and Swank with Donkey Cart. So one thing I did want to ask you before we have to kick you to the curb with the rest of our fleeing immigrants is the resurgence of sort of tattoos, but also the sort of interest in tattoos. I mean, you have Inked on A&E. You had Miami Ink, which led into LA Ink. And the question that I asked you earlier, but I was just curious what your response was, is how do artists like yourself regard somebody like Kat Von D? Is you said that she's very talented, and that's why she can sort of get away with it. But what sort of role has she played in sort of bringing tattoos back to the forefront, and also not just sailors and prostitutes anymore?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's good for business. It gives people ideas about getting them, gives people ideas about of things that they'd like. Maybe people who would have never gotten tattoos before, or who would have looked askance at them, now see them as like an interesting or a beautiful thing or anything like that. It's funny, I found sometimes with me, I would get approached by old ladies grabbing my arms and looking at my tattoos and stuff, because normally they'd be scared to look at somebody's tattoos, but I'm pretty non-threatening looking, so they'd be like, all right, let me check this out.
That works. Well, how many tattoos do you like? How many tattoos could you do? Like in a perfect world, how would your business be? Well,
since I'm working from my home, I don't want it every day, because I don't want to have to, be in that setup and in that mode just in my own space at all times. A couple days a week would be good for me. That would be ideal, really.
Do you tattoo strangers or just friends and friends of friends?
It's mainly friends and friends of friends and coworkers of friends and things like that.
So sort of an introduction.
Yeah, I don't want some total stranger knowing where I live, just some random off the street, coming by.
Yeah, she's talking to you, Internet.
Yeah, creeps.
Send your hate mail too. So anything else you'd like to add before we kick you off the show?
I also have art at the Gem Gallery. You can go buy stuff there.
So the Gem Gallery,
yep.
You can go check out your stuff there. You have the craft fair at the Cambrian Hall on Sunday, July 5th.
Yep.
And then at some point on July 16th,
yes,
you will be playing.
Indeterminate point.
You will be playing on CITR.
Yeah, with my band, The Drinking Problems.
Again, I just stated twice for the record. What a great name that is.
Gets a cheap laugh.
I don't know if it's cheap because it's definitely quality entertainment. So we're going to finish up with another last blast of music here. For those of you watching, you will be seeing the live performance. For those of you listening, we're going to be closing out with Haunted House by Valerie Graham. If you want to check out more of her stuff, www.myspace.com/Valerie Graham.
Yep.
We'll put that up down here somewhere so you can read that and go check that out. Also, we have Ain't Nobody's Business by Billie Holiday, Oh Be Joyful by the Pack AD, and Poor Ellen Smith by Nico Case. So that is it for us today. If you would like to be on the show, or someone you know would like to be on the show, feel free to send me an email at baroncameron@shaw.ca. Other than that, that's about it for us. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week is going to be the big birthday barbecue blog. So if it makes any sense, we will see. But until then, here's some Billie Holiday.
I'm a big old haunted house, and there's nothing I can do. When you come into my parlor, I might just scare the shit out of you. 'Cause there's bats in all the belfries and boogeymen in every room. And if you don't watch your step, my love, they're gonna lead you to your doom. Oh, don't be scared, there's nothing hiding under there. Oh, don't run away, but if you're going, shut the gate. 'Cause I'm a big old haunted house, and my shutters hang askew. I got private signs and brambles growing wild, set to keep you getting through. If you come creeping up my staircase just to give yourself a little thrill, I know a couple little dead kids who've been looking for one as well. Oh, don't be scared, there's nothing hiding under there. Oh, don't run away, but if you're going, shut the gate. I don't know about the afterlife, but here's one thing that I do. We could have us a conversation on just who's been haunting who. I can feel you moving through my walls, hear you breathing in the gloom. It makes me shiver so when you come and go, I just had to shout out. Choice. I just collected so much junk in here, and each one had its own voice. So they sealed me up and shoved me down and said no one should ever live here. And if you want to believe them, then I suggest you just stay clear. 'Cause I'm a big old haunted house now, honey, and there's nothing I can do. If then you come into my parlor, I might just scare the shit out of you. 'Cause there's bats in all the belfries and boogeymen in every room. And if you don't watch your step, my love, they're gonna leave